Well, greetings, BUS24 students. This is week number 2 in our 8-week course here at Norco College in Business Communications. This week, you're going to be looking at 2 chapters, Chapter 2 and Chapter 12. Chapter 2 deals with the beginning of our business writing segment, which we'll actually do the next module next week or 2 weeks from now. Yeah, one more week in Module 1, and then we'll start Module 2. But we're kind of laying the groundwork for business documents, business writing, and then this week, however, we are going to be focusing also on business presentation. So that's what Chapter 12 is on. Make sure you read that. And this kind of ties into your do's and don'ts of business presentation assignments, as well as the business presentation that you're going to be giving in PowerPoint. This is your individual presentation assignment, and I'll be talking about both of those in a little bit more detail in this video. So let me go ahead and stop sharing here, and let me look at our class in Canvas, and just so we can go over those assignments together, and I can give you a more detailed explanation and instruction. So for some reason today, my laptop computer will not load the images. Not really sure why, but it's working fine on my desktop computer, but this is my laptop that I'm using to share. But you can still see the different modules. These are typically the blue buttons or red buttons, but we're in module number 1, so I'm going to go ahead and select that. And again, a lot of you have asked me in the email, why does it show that the individual presentation assignment is due this week? Why does it show that the discussion post on the top 10 or the top do's and don'ts for business presentation is due this week? And I just want to make it very clear. You have 3 weeks to do that assignment, but I always keep the most current week as the due date, because if I put the due date 3 weeks from now, many students won't even look at it until that last week, and there's no way they're going to be able to complete the assignments in 1 week. So I give you the due date of the current week, so that way it draws your attention to it and you can work on it. But in the assignment instructions, it's very clear when the assignment is due. You don't need to upload anything for the individual presentation until the very last week. But on the discussion post assignment, you do need to be doing something every week, as it explains in the assignment instructions. So looking at this week, week number 2, I'm going to go ahead and move those 2 assignments down that we started last week, because you have 3 weeks to complete them. And I'm going to be changing that from start those assignments to continue those assignments. And then next week, I'll change it to complete the assignments. I'll also be moving the due date to this week on both of those assignments as well. So by the time you look at it and watching this video, it'll be changed. But this week, again, you have 2 chapters. So I've given you the PowerPoint slides on that. There's a check-in assignment with 2 questions from each chapter focused on things I want to make sure you don't miss. So make sure you answer this. I just need the textbook answer. I don't need any other answers. Then you have a quiz on the 2 chapters just to help you make sure you're learning what you need to learn. These you can take up to 3 times if you don't do well. Then there's the discussion post assignment I mentioned, and then there's the individual presentation. And both of those I will change to continue. So the first one is the discussion post assignment. Again, this is where you are coming up with a list of the do's and don'ts of business presentations. Now, all of you have experienced presentations at this point in your life. You can look at how your teacher teaches the class. You can look at how your students have given their oral presentations. You could also think about great speeches that you've seen, great messages that you've heard. And so just off the top of your head, I'm not really asking you to get too in depth on this as a starting point, but last week what you should have done is just thought about people that present, what you think is good, what you think is bad. Make a list of both, as many things as you can think of. You may also want to consider if they used presentation software, whether that was helpful or not. And then after that, you want to go ahead and watch the videos, and you want to look at other students' lists and see what they came up with, and refine your list. So week 1 was just make your own list. This week, you should be viewing other students' lists, maybe watch or rewatch some of those videos, and then refine your list. And then next week, the final week, you'll be giving me your final list, kind of your edited down, best of, top do's and don'ts. And that's what I'll be looking for in that assignment. It should really be at least three times that you're going in and doing it. You're doing it week 1 with your initial list. You're doing it week 2 by commenting on other students' lists. And then week 3, giving me your final list. And that's how that assignment will be graded as well. So that's the top 10 do's and don'ts. And then right next to that, you have your individual presentations. So your individual presentation assignment is where you're giving really a story of your four most significant life events. You're going to be recording yourself giving this presentation. It's going to be 5 minutes long, no longer than that. In PowerPoint, you're going to record it in PowerPoint. It's going to be a PowerPoint presentation. You should be able to have a recording with your slides as you're moving through them, along with a video of yourself. And in the assignment instructions, I explain how to do that recording. And so that assignment, you have another 2 weeks to do it. Last week, you should have just began kind of thinking up what are my four most significant life events. This week, you might start building your PowerPoint, but you don't need to submit anything on this assignment until the last week. And that'll be next week when you record your presentation and upload it. So keep in mind that it's sometimes very large file, so it has trouble uploading. I'd say maybe half the students are successful, the other half have trouble. In that case, you might want to just go to YouTube, upload it to YouTube, copy the link, and then post the link into your assignment. That's the easiest, and it's actually easier for me to view it that way. So I kind of prefer that, but nonetheless, if you're able to upload your finished PowerPoint recorded presentation, great. If you need to send it to YouTube, no problem. If you need to send it to Google Docs or Google Slides or whatever, that's fine too. Just make sure that I can download it and view it. And sometimes students don't make it public or don't invite me to, and then I go in to look at it, I can't view it. So make sure you do that. But we'll get to that next week when I do the video on that. So that's pretty much it for this week. I don't know. Let me check real quick if I had a Zoom session scheduled for us to go over these assignments, and typically I do. So let me see if I have that in my in the syllabus. Where's that at here? Syllabus. And let me just take a look real quick because I may have had a Zoom session scheduled for that. And if I do, then I will be holding that Zoom session. But let me see when it is. I'm going to scroll down here in our syllabus. So yes, it's going to be Wednesday at 10 a.m. So I will be holding a Zoom session this Wednesday at 10 a.m. And I will go over both of those assignments. I'll be sending a special email on that with the link to the Zoom session. It's basically the office hours link that you could use to meet me in Zoom. It's the same one I do the Zoom sessions with. So this Wednesday at 10 a.m., join me for that Zoom session. All right. Have a great week, everyone, and I'll see you, hopefully, many of you on Wednesday. And until next week, have a great one.